Fab to come out and say that being a rapper is the most dangerous job in the world. To me, that's a whole different bag of marbles. That's a lot to be able to say that, and really mean it. He sounds like he does. So I want to throw this out to you guys. With that statement, Terry, I'll come to you first. Is that cap, man? Is that hyperbole? Is he doing a little too much with that on that statement? Or is there some credence to that comment? Talk to me.
No, I'm definitely going to have to go with cap for 500, Alex. The thing about it is, as dangerous as it might be, there's certain situations that certain artists put themselves in, and we kind of discussed that last week as well. And there's also a lot of things that you get as far as like prize-worthy things from being a rapper. So a lot of people aspire to be a rapper, and I mean, mostly everybody's not out here dying from being a rapper. Is generally the people that don't remove themselves from their situations, or or the ones that are still trying to be around the environment that they work so hard to get out of. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's kind of a give and take answer or a situation there, but I couldn't say it's the most dangerous job to have at all. Definitely cap.
Okay. Don't talk to me. Is this what do you think on that? Hyperbole? He lying? How do you feel about it?
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick, and this is the top 25 most dangerous jobs.
Okay. Wish we had a music sound every time he shares the screen.
So we have mining machine operators, construction workers, maintenance workers. 22 is police officers, ground maintenance workers, heavy vehicle mechanics, supervisors of mechanics, small engine mechanics, cement masons, highway maintenance workers, landscaping supervisors, construction helpers, crane operators, crossing guards, agriculture workers, power linemen, firefighter supervisors, farmers, delivery drivers, iron workers, garbage collectors, roofers, derrick operators in oil, gas, and mining, aircraft pilots and flight engineers, and number 1, logging workers. Maybe this study did not. Maybe to his defense, maybe maybe rappers was not included in this study. I'm not sure.
I guess not. I mean, essentially, being a rapper is like being a successful rapper is like hitting the lottery. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that happens like all the time. No matter how many people want to be a rapper, I mean, how many people are actually successful being a rapper at the end of the day?
But at the same, like rapping and being in a dangerous situation is not synonymous. Like,
right.
So I don't know. I'd be curious of the context of exactly what he means.
His Instagram seems like he lives a pretty nice lifestyle.
Well, he definitely does. I think he's maybe he's trying to piggyback off what we talked about last week in those circumstances with these rappers out here in the feds. But I think he's taking that into the equation as well, because there's 2 screenshots. And the second screenshot says, Black men are surviving the trenches, constant battles in the war zone environment, make something of themselves as artists, become famous, make millions of dollars, change their lifestyle, and somehow they still end up dead or in jail. So I think he's kind of playing off what the conversation that we had last week and taking that into consideration. But that's a big statement, man. Lone just had the list, and I'm country, so I got family down south. And that logging business is not a joke. People be out there, one false move, you make a wrong mistake, and it's a wrap for you on site daily. Jay Moore, what you think, man? That's cap, or does he have some sort of a point?
No, he doesn't have a point. I mean, I think it's a nice soundbite, especially with all the things that have happened. Like I said, it's been a ridiculous amount of rappers who've been shot and or killed in recent months. But it's, I think it's more, these things are more exceptions than rules. I think the rappers who don't try to rap and gangbang at the same time, their chances of being hurt goes down exponentially. Especially if you're not like, I mean, I know Boosie was shot, but he was dealing with Mo3, who was, unfortunately there was beef there, and people don't care. Like, so it may not been something directly, but it was still something having to do with street beef.
Yeah.
I remember, of all people, Nelly, when he was talking about when he decided, okay, I'm going to take this rap thing seriously because I can't do the streets and I can't do rap at the same time. How I'm going to do the streets, and there's a flyer that has my name on it, where I'm going to be and what time I'm going to be there. You can't do both. It just doesn't make sense. You can't tell your enemies exactly where you're going to be all the time. It doesn't work like that.
It's a fact.
I guess, working within hyperbole, I understand what he was trying to say, but let's not make it. I don't ever want to say that people put themselves in a position to where they could get killed, because like you just don't know the day or the hour.
Right.
Like death is so random. Trust me, I've been dealing with that all year.
Yeah.
And it's really a situation to where I don't ever want to blame someone for their own death. But, once you get some money, you have to, and a little bit of fame and notoriety, you have to move different. There are people who are not, they're not happy for you. And you have to understand that everybody is, I think, do you remember it was one of French Montana's associates a few years ago, Chink's Drugs or whatever.
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
He came back to the neighborhood thinking everything is good. He's got his, his Porsche Panamera. Let me tell you something. The conversation on that, and it wound up being somebody he knew who killed him, because the thing is, I'm not saying you can't go back to your old neighborhood, but you have to watch yourself and how you move, because you show up in $100,000 car and there's going to be somebody's girlfriend who's going to say, "Ooh, look at that car." Or eyes get a little too big while she's with her man. Or there's going to be somebody whose kid, you says, "Ooh, daddy, look at that car." You know what I'm saying? And then, if you don't have your self-esteem together, you're going to be feeling weak about how this man came through and stunted on you and got your son and your lady, looking at you like you some sort of superhero.
So
So
it's
like,
funny.
there's a lot of
It's
people
funny
who
that
be
you
like,
said that.
I'll show him. Yeah, I'll let that motherfucker know what time it is for coming through here stunting. He'll find out today.
It's funny that you said that, because Boosie had an interview. He talked about the famous "Hypnotized with Hatred" interview. He talked about how he used that same analogy. He talked about your girl hearing the song when she's riding by and hearing people playing my music. Your nephew in the living room, or your son, he's turning up the Boosie. Cousins listening to Boosie, and all that type of stuff starts to fester in those people, and they get jealous. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell people, nice person or not, you're a damn fool if you think everybody around you or that associate with you or people that comment on things that you do, if you think everybody is happy for you, you a damn fool. There's always somebody that's not happy for any success that you have. That's just reality. So what these rappers are talking about is magnified times 100 when you're talking about hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So I can see, to a certain extent, I can see where he's coming from. But at the same time, when you say the most dangerous, like, that's a huge statement to be like, yo,
I mean,
being a rapper is the most dangerous.
To me, it's something that whenever you pass a certain threshold of money, essentially going back and putting yourself in certain environments isn't the smartest thing to do. I mean, even as anybody that gets money, for that matter, it doesn't matter whether you're a rapper, NFL player, NBA player, that if you just a dude from the hood that got bread, you got to move different. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's just part of the game. You got to move different. You can't, for lack of better terms, be with all the common folk all the time trying to prove how real you are. And that's just the bottom line. Because there's certain people that if you shining too much in front of them, and they're trying to make a way, then to them that's they're taking it as disrespect, essentially.
Yeah.
So I mean,
We
you
saw it
just
with
gotta,
Nip. We
you
saw it
gotta
with
know
Nip.
how to
We
move.
saw it with Nip though. Nip is the prime example. The prime example of what we're talking about. Exact same thing. Somebody from the hood that was jealous. Like they said, he was a rapper that nobody was really messing with, or somebody that they didn't respect. They called him a snitch, blah, 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 blah. But that was pure jealousy, man. They ain't had nothing to do with nothing else but being jealous. But the fact that fam was so successful, he came back to the hood and he saw a life that he didn't have. Got into his feelings. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. That's how it goes.
Well, no, and look, and this is crazy because when I, of course, for those of you who don't know who are listening, like I've worked in and around nightclubs for the better part of 20 years. Anytime I've seen any type of violence or somebody getting into a fight, it's always a self-esteem issue. It's, people want to say it's like, I tried not to work in certain establishments where I'm worried. I was like, I don't know. There's too many people in here with low self-esteem. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it is a lot of times when you are in certain environments and no one wants to really talk about the psyche, specifically with Black men and low self-esteem and, mental health. This is what leads to a lot of violence. Nobody wants to talk about these things, but I'm telling you right now, anytime you see people who are willing to fight in public over the most petty small things, that is a self-esteem issue. And if you're someplace that has these problems on a regular basis, like a lot of times people get shot over like somebody, over something stupid. And I guarantee but you attack that person's self-esteem.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. A lot of times it's not, it ties into ego. It ties into, challenging my manhood and how dare you say these things about me? Like, but cause I'm one of those people, look, of course I'm also 43 years old, but I've had this mentality for a long time. If you got some sort of beef with me, you can go. Like I didn't get into the game in any way, shape or form to having to be putting my hands on somebody or somebody putting their hands on me. Like if you don't like me, that is just fine. I am not here to engage you in your hate. You can go ahead and feel that way. I'm still going to get paid at the end of the night. That's what we're in it for on all levels. So, I mean, everyone just has to be careful, especially now, because I'm telling you right now, I've seen like there's a part of where I go, one of the places where I go on a pretty frequent basis. It's behind one of these international grocery stores. It's turning into like another little Skid Row because there are so many poor and disenfranchised people out here. And that's going to manifest itself into even more danger and more people being blatant with the level of violence they're ready to perpetrate on someone because, why he got them shoes on? Why does he have that? How he going to pull up here and make me look? I can only afford a drink. He buying the bottle. Like, I got to show him what time it is. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Let me ask you guys this. And Lone, I'll come to you with what we are all talking about in terms of circumstances and what rappers go through and that. With what Jay Moore just described, does the pandemic heighten that? Does that add to it in terms of the jealousy and the all the stuff that comes with it? You think the pandemic heightens that?
If it hasn't already, it will. It's just the short answer is yes. I at least I believe so. I think I saw an article that said like, or maybe it was a tweet that like 8 million more people are in poverty now than were like at the start of the pandemic in America.
And I think that's on the low end. I really do.
most likely, and that's not including the people that are riding that line.
Yeah.
And we're already in poverty to begin with. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband and join our private Discord community with talks on hip-hop, music, news, and everything else.